Want to build social proof with less hassle and collect client feedback automatically? Chasing clients for feedback and reviews can be painful. In this video, I'll show you how to automate feedback and testimonial requests so you can focus on doing what you love. By the end of this video, you'll have a system in place to gather valuable insights and build your social proof on autopilot. I'm Nick, and this is video 10 of my 10-part series on how to automate your coaching business using HighLevel. If you want to build along with me, click my affiliate link down below to get a 30-day free trial of HighLevel. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. Glad to have you here. Good to see you again. So we're looking at feedback and review requests today. Let's dive right into it. So here's what we're going to cover. We're looking at forms and surveys, so collecting that feedback in different styles. Detailed responses, so we want as much information as possible without being overbearing. Automated review requests, so automatically sending out a request to build reviews, build testimonials, get social proof. We love that. And triggers and follow-ups. Okay, before we dive into that, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn for more exclusive content, dropping posts on there fairly regularly. And share the course. Sharing is caring. Let your friends know about this course in the community. If you've made it this far, I'm hoping you're enjoying it. So let some people know. Hopefully it'll be valuable to them as well. Quick warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video. Don't skip. Don't fast forward. But as a pro tip, you can watch it on 2x speed to get through it just that little bit quicker. Twice as quick, actually. Goals and outcomes today. So the intended outcomes, we're going to have an automated feedback system to stay on top of your clients' needs. So they'll regularly receive feedback requests, asking them to tell you what's going on, how they're feeling. And automated review system. So we're going to build your social proof without you really having to do much at all. And that's always handy for bringing in new clients, for really establishing yourself as an authority in the field, which is a difficult thing to do. So forms and surveys. Let's get into it. Actually, before we do that, let's have a look at our map. So we are here on the map. We're at the testimonial stage. So we're almost at the end. We're pretty much at the end. And we'll just have a look on the pipeline here. Yeah, so we'll have feedback requested, testimonial requested. So this is after the first session, but it's not before the end where they hopefully resubscribe. So if we have a look down here, zoom in a bit as to where we're at, we'll see we've got here, after they get the welcome pack and they've booked in their session, they're attending sessions, and this goes around 12 times. But at the 3x mark, we get a feedback request, and at the 6x mark, we get a testimonial request. So this sort of happens in here. We'll explain that in a bit more detail later. We're looking at these two automation maps here. So we've got a feedback request and a review request, and we can see the triggers of the session counters. So it's a good thing we set those up in the last video. Okay, let's get into it. So, forms and surveys. All right, so we want forms for quick feedback. So we can use simple forms to ask quick questions and gather client feedback after every third session. Cadence is up to you. You can do it after every session if you like, but every third is probably a good balance. And surveys for in-depth insight. So we can create detailed surveys for more comprehensive feedback after a full coaching package. So right at the end, like we did at the start in our previous video, we created a survey to sort of onboard them and get some information. We can ask them that at the end as well, or throughout, maybe at the 6th point. Really depends, up to you for the cadence there. But at the end is a good way to do it. We definitely don't want to be overwhelming them by asking a lot of questions. And easy implementation. So we're going to use GoHighLevel's form and survey builder to create easy to use feedback forms for clients. So let's have a look at that now. We'll jump into it. We're in here. We go to the Sites tab. You might remember this from when we created a lead form. And we will go to Forms Builder. Okay, we've got our lead magnet form there. So we're going to start with a brand new form. We're going to ask a couple of questions. All right, let's create our feedback form. So we're going to put this together. We don't need all of this information. We don't really need last name. We don't need the phone number. We can take it if we like. We don't need that. I'll get rid of that. So this is only here, the email address. We want that so we can attribute it properly to the right record. And first name, we might as well ask for that, sure. Now we'll create a couple of custom fields to ask our questions. So we want to think about what sort of feedback do we want? What do we want to know about them? So I have a couple of questions over here that I've written out. So what's the most valuable part of our coaching session so far? What have you really valued? How satisfied are you with the progress that you've made? We can say, was there anything you'd like to focus on more during the sessions? How can I improve the experience? And how likely are you to recommend this coaching service to others? So we've got a couple of questions there. We might even want to trim some of those and only ask 3 questions. We'll do 3 on this one. So we'll add an element. Now we're not going to use this quick add function for any new custom fields. So if it doesn't already exist, we don't want to put it in from here because it gets a bit glitchy sometimes. So we're just going to go into custom fields here and we're going to add a custom field. And we're going to create that. So we'll start with the most valuable part of today's session. So we'll do a multi-line there, give them some space to answer if they have a lot to say. Hopefully there's a lot. And we will say most valuable. That is not how you spell valuable. Okay, so we'll save that. Oh, we need to add it to a group. We'll just add it to additional info for now. We'll create another group in a second. Okay. Yeah, so we've got it here. We'll drop that in. And we can maybe change the label to make it a proper question. Okay. Saving that, we always want to save. I'm going to add in, let's do a drop down here. Okay, so we want satisfaction score. Oh, we need to add it in here, that's all right. So we'll do additional info and we'll create some options here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you see it's added values there as well. We can use this in some analysis if we're looking across the board, if we want to see the overall score, the overall satisfaction score. And we'll say not satisfied, below average, average. I just want to remove these here. Oh no, we need to keep it. Above average, and excellent. Now you can change these up to say whatever you like. These are pretty bland. Okay, we'll drop that in when it comes up. It should pop up here, satisfaction score. Yeah, so we've got a drop down there where they can answer that question. We'll say, how satisfied are you with our coaching? All right, and then we'll just do one more question. So we'll do a checkbox. Okay, so we'll add that in. Not a checkbox, a radio select, because we only want them to pick one option. And we're going to say focus areas. And we're simply going to have yes and no. We'll save that here. Right. Focus areas. And we'll say, is there anything you would have liked more focus on during your sessions? So is there anything that we're missing that they haven't really brought up? Maybe they're a bit uncomfortable in the sessions to speak openly, which isn't ideal, but there's something that they want to talk about that we haven't mentioned. And with that, we should probably add in another field, even though I said we'd be done. We will add in another one here, just a multi-line. Let's call it yes focus. Probably not the best naming convention there, but that's all right. So this is just if they've said yes, we'll say, if yes, please comment below. so we can find out what it is that they want to focus on. And we'll make some of these mandatory. Oh, I just realized we've put the button all the way up here. We want that at the bottom. So we'll move that down. We'll call this submit your feedback. And we need to move this around a bit as well. Okay. Oh, it's all gone a bit weird. There we are. So, name, email, what's been the most valuable part of our coaching session so far? How satisfied are you? Is there anything you'd like more focus on during your sessions? If yes, please comment below. All right, so that's all set. Now we'll save that here. Call that feedback form. Okay, and now that we've got this form set up, what we want to do is when the session counter reaches 3, we want to send that out, tag them as feedback requested, and then wait and see if they provided the feedback or not. If not, we're going to follow up with them. So let's dive into building that out. Now, I will just say it's probably best if we create a funnel for this. I'm not going to go into it right now because it's a bit time consuming, not super time consuming, but our focus is on the form. So we're just going to use the link to the form in our email that we send out. Okay, so we're going back. We're going into automations. Something else as well is that you can create different forms for different stages in the process. So we can just reuse the same form over and over again every 3-4 sessions to send that out. But we can also just create a different one each time. So we get new information, and it also stores all that information. If we use the same one, it will overwrite that info every time. And it depends if you want to keep that. Sometimes it's valuable. Okay, so feedback request. Got it. So the trigger we're going to use here is contact changed, and we'll run on changes of tags, assigned user, and custom field. So we've got a custom field. So what we want to do is we want to send this out on the custom field of either sessions total or sessions attended. I'll leave that up to you. If they miss all 3 first sessions, no show to them, then maybe we don't want to send out a form. Let's use sessions attended, and we'll say it has changed to 3. So once they've attended 3 sessions, we'll save that. All right, so we have our trigger there. 3 sessions attended. Yeah, that's saved. Okay, so once they've attended 3 sessions, so it's been updated, we are going to email them the feedback request. Now we might wait a minute as well. We can just wait a day, but sometimes it's best to have it sent out as soon as possible. So we will say, where are we? Here we are. Let's just wait 20 minutes. Okay, save that there, and then we'll send an email. So if we remember the knock-on effect here, what's happened is you just mark their appointment as showed for the 3rd time. So every time we mark their appointment as showed back here, it adds 1 to the session counter. So by doing this, it's setting it up and moving along to the next step, which will be this when it reaches 3. So immediately after you've marked them as showed, this will happen. Feedback request. And that's why I've added that 20-minute wait there, but you can just have it happen immediately. It will be right at the end of the session. And we'll say something a bit nicer than that as our subject. Can you please fill in this feedback form? It helps me serve you better. All right, and we'll include the link there. Now, of course, we probably want to make that a hyperlink somewhere, make it look nicer, but that's fine for all intents and purposes at the moment. Okay, so then next, we're going to want to wait. No, we want to tag. We want to tag them as feedback requested and update the opportunity. Okay, so we're going to add a tag. And the tag that we're going to use is feedback requested. And we're going to move them down the opportunity pipeline. So in the pipeline, client pipeline, we're going to move them to the stage feedback requested. Okay, and then we're going to save that. I've noticed that save that has kind of become my catchphrase. All right, then we're going to wait 2 days and we're going to see if they provided feedback and if they haven't. So in this one here, we're just going to wait. Going to wait 2 days. Okay, then we're going to email them again. Follow-up email. And of course, we'll be a bit nicer than that. But yeah, so this is set up now. So it will send out the feedback request. It will tag them saying we've sent it. It'll update the opportunity. Then after 2 days, we're going to check in with them if they haven't done it by then. Now, how do we know if they have done it? Good question. Here's a good answer, or an answer. So you might remember this from the lead form. So what we're going to do is we're going to do form submit. So form submitted. So we're going to add a filter here, and the form is the feedback form, number 1. Let's just see if there's anything else we want to add on there. No, that's all good. Okay, and then we will add a tag, add a contact tag, saying feedback provided. Save that here. And we'll send them a thank you email. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. We'll save that here. And we will add, remove them from the other workflow. So we'll remove them from another workflow, and that is the feedback requested workflow. So that will stop, if it's within those 2 days, it will stop the follow-up email going out. And this is pretty much it. That's all we're going to do right now with this. We can do some other things with it. I might dive into them. We'll see what happens. But let's go back to the presentation, see what's next. So we did mention surveys as well. I showed you how to create a survey in the previous video. It would just be the same. I don't see the need to go over it again right now. If you've just jumped into the video, go back to the last one. Oh, sorry, it was in the onboarding video, the one before. So in that, I go over how to create a survey. You do the exact same thing, and we can put that through at the end and be a bit more detailed on our questions there. But the setup is exactly the same. Okay, so detailed responses. So we want customized questions, so tailor questions to the type of session or package. That's what we've done. Client-specific feedback. So gather feedback on key aspects of the coaching experience, such as session quality or areas for improvement. So we really are looking for some detail here, a bit more than 1 out of 10. Is it good? I mean, I always like feedback, but when I just get the feedback good, it doesn't really help me much, other than to know I'm on the right track. I'd rather get something a bit more detailed, constructive criticism, or what in particular is good. I always like to have a bit of information. So improve client experience. So we're going to use the feedback to refine your services and enhance the client experience. So we're not just collecting feedback to collect it. We want to take action based on it. We want to use data-driven decision making, which makes more sense if we have a lot of feedback. But even so, it's all data. It's all information. So based on that, we're going to make some changes. Unless everything is fantastic and they wouldn't change a thing, then we're going to keep it the same. And that's a decision in itself to not change anything. All right, automated review requests. Let's have a look at this next. So we want to send this after 6 sessions. You can send it early, you can send it later. This is just my thought. It's sort of middle of the road. They've hopefully had some success. So we want to automatically send a review request when a client completes 6 sessions, making the process seamless. Okay, gentle reminders. So if the client doesn't leave a review after the initial request, send a gentle reminder to encourage them without being intrusive. Now, a pro tip on this one, don't send an email saying, this is a gentle reminder. I receive those sometimes. I don't understand. Be personable. Say, hey, just checking in. Were you able to leave a testimonial? I'd love it if you could. It's really helpful. That's a gentle reminder, not this is a gentle reminder. even though it's automated and it's happening from a robot, from a computer, we don't want it to sound like that. Okay, then we want to boost trust with testimonials. So we use our client testimonials to showcase success stories, helping to build trust and attract new clients. So we do that through our Facebook reviews, our Google reviews, or if we use a different platform, I use testimonial.to. I'll leave a link for that below. It's pretty handy. But for this one, we're just going to look at Facebook reviews. All right, so we'll jump into it. Let's go back. Now we have a reputation tab here. So if you've got our Facebook page integrated, we have it in here in the reputation tab, and it will automatically start including options for review requests. So this is built in to HighLevel. It's more designed for somewhere like a restaurant or an e-commerce store, something like that. But we can still use it. We just need to tweak it a bit. We don't want to use all of the features. So we've got an overview here. This would show you your score, all your reviews that you've received. We can see requests. So this is anything that's been sent out. We've got our reviews over here. It's looking very empty. I don't have any reviews. We can have a look at different widgets. So this would be what it looks like. We can embed this on our website. You see we've got an embed function here. Listings. Now this is Yext. Don't use this. For your purposes as an online coach, we don't need this. And settings. So in here is where we're going to play around to start with. So we want to have a look at we've got review AI here. So when someone leaves a review, we can automatically respond, or we can just turn this off, or have it suggested. But yeah, it will start to give them auto responses based on different things. So if it's 1 star or above, or we can just have an auto response sent to anyone that does 5 stars saying thank you. Yeah, I would leave this alone, maybe have it as suggestive. I haven't played with it enough to know how good it is. Review link, this is important. So where are we going to get it from? So we can get it from Facebook here. Now it's not connected at the moment, but you just have your Facebook page linked here. Or you can use something external or Google, but we're going with Facebook today. You can have balancing as well, where if it's across multiple, so if you've got this connected and this connected, it sends them to different places. One person asks for a Google review, the next person asks for a Facebook review. I would generally try and keep them all in one place. That's why I use an external platform there. Now we're going to skip SMS review requests because we don't have a phone number hooked up. And we're going to go straight to email. Right, so we'll turn this on. Now we're going to say, so this is the email that goes out. We're definitely going to tweak this, but as you can see, it's just saying, would you be so kind as to recommend us? Thanks for your business. Would you like to recommend us to your family and friends? This is probably great for a restaurant, e-commerce, that sort of thing. For you, when you have a very personal one-on-one relationship with a client, I would not recommend this at all. It's better to not send anything than to send this. But yeah, we can tweak that. So we do that in the email builder here. But when to send review, we're going to change this to custom. And we're going to say, don't repeat in this case. So normally what would happen is until they click it, we would send it out every couple of days. We're going to build that in separately in our workflow. In fact, we might not even build anything at all here. Let's just leave it as custom. Yeah, I'll come back to this and make sure it's correct. Okay, we will open the email builder and have a look at the email that goes out. So this is where we change some things around. I would probably remove almost all of this. Maybe we have the 5 stars up there. But yeah, tweak this as you see fit. And we can add in elements, so text. I'd probably try and change it to just text overall and make it a bit simpler to look at. But yeah, we can see this here. Right now, I'm not going to tweak anything, but personalize this a bit. You can include the contact name. So we've got that up here. Custom values, contact full name. But yeah, ideally we want this coming from you, not from the machine. We can also just build this entirely separately with the review link here. The reason we want to use that is so that it tracks that they've been sent to the review page and when they've left a review. So I'm going to save this here. Okay, anything else to look at? We've got a QR code, so you can create a QR for them to review. We don't necessarily need that. If we're emailing it out automatically, you could have a QR code if you're doing it in person on your desk in your reception room, and spam reviews as well. So we've turned off spam detection here. We can turn it on. Probably not necessary in your case, but it's not a bad thing to have on though. Okay, so we're going to go back to automations. Now that we've seen all of this and how it works, we're going to automate that. So here is what we're looking to do. Is when the session counter reaches 6. So we're going to check if they have a testimonial provider tag, because what we want to do, we'll look at this further down, is maybe they're on their own volition, have just gone and given you an amazing review, an amazing testimonial. If they've done that, we don't need to be asking them again. We can ask for multiple testimonials from the same person, but yeah, it's best not to, I think. I'll leave that up to you. But what we will do, create a workflow, start from scratch. And we'll call this one review request. And here's our trigger. So contact changed. So exactly the same as what we were doing with feedback. So we want to have a look at sessions attended or sessions total has changed to 6. We're going to save that. We're going to say if else. So if there's a contact tag, testimonial provided, there it is. So if that's there, we're not going to do anything. We just keep going as normal. You see that here? Yes, just the end. If it's a no, we're going to email them the testimonial request or review request. And we have our own separate function here. So we're going to send the review request, review type, email, okay, and we can configure the review request message in reputation settings. So that's where we just were in the reputation settings. Okay, so we'll save that. Okay, then up next, we're going to tag them and update the opportunity. Add tag, type it in because it doesn't exist yet. Okay, update the opportunity in the client pipeline, and we're going to testimonial requested. Okay, so we'll save that here. Okay, then after that, we're going to wait 3 days and then check in. So the same as we've done with the feedback, and we're going to build a separate one to interrupt there. So we're going to wait 3 days. Okay, and then we're not going to do an if function here because it's going to interrupt from the other side. So we're just going to send another email. Okay. Testimonial follow-up. Okay, and we're going to use that. Let's see if we can find it here. We can't find it here, that's all right. Go. Now we're going to take the link from what we were looking at before. Here we go. We see some duplication in action here and going back without having to leave entirely. So I've just gone into the email builder here to grab this, the reviewed link. And that is what I want to include in this email here. So give them the link again, and we'll make it a hyperlink. And we will save that there. And then I think we're just going to duplicate that process again. So another 3 days, another follow-up, maybe another 3 days, another follow-up. That might be a bit too much. So let's just duplicate this. Copy all actions from here and drop them down there. And I'm going to leave that as it is for now. You would absolutely change the wording in those. Don't send the same message over and over again. If you want to do that, you can just use the review requester in its current format. This is to make it a bit more dynamic. So let's go back. So we've created that workflow. Now we want to create one for when we receive a review. Okay, so the trigger here is new review received. So we're not going to do anything except for review source is Facebook. And that's because we are just working on Facebook on this one. If you have Google as well, you just leave that blank. We'll save that. Review received. So we're going to add that trigger. Add that tag. And that tag was, I believe it was testimonial provided. Yeah. So that means if this is before the 6th session, they will show as already having provided the testimonial. Okay, then we're going to send a thank you email. Ooh. For the testimonial. And you can see I'm jumping backwards between review, testimonial. Same thing, I would recommend stick with your naming convention, and I'm going to go through this afterwards and clean it all up, call it testimonial everywhere. Okay, and then we're going to remove from workflow, remove from another workflow, and we're going to see, what is it called? Call it testimonial here, review request. Okay, so we'll save that. So this basically interrupts the follow-up emails. So at any point that they provide a testimonial, it will go through here and stop this from happening, stop the follow-ups there. Okay, so that's our automation built for reviews. That's ready to go. So as soon as someone hits their 6th session with you, or whatever you decide, whatever number you choose, it will send out a request asking for a testimonial, and then it will continue to follow up for 2-3 attempts until they provide it. And if they've already provided it, it won't ask at all. Okay. So triggers and follow-ups. So triggers based on responses. Now this is an interesting one. We can use feedback triggers to automate actions based on client responses. We can send follow-up emails, so we automatically send emails thanking clients for their feedback or addressing any concerns that they've raised. So we're going to have a look at a little bit of AI here. You don't have to use this. Improve client retention. So by addressing feedback promptly, you enhance client satisfaction and retention. So there are ways to manually do this where it just sends you a notification with their responses and you can have a look at it. But we might just play around with a little bit of AI just for fun. So live run through as we've been doing this whole time. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at the feedback request. So feedback provided. So let's go into this one and play with it a little bit. And I haven't mapped this one out, we're just freestyling a bit here. And this is all just sort of an idea as to what we could do. So in our feedback form, let's have a look at what were the fields there in the feedback form. We'll do an internal notification first. So this would send you their feedback. So we'll do an email. It will go to the assigned user, feedback from, contact full name, and then in our custom values here, in our custom fields, we will just go to contact and then custom fields, and here is where we have all of their details. So we can say satisfaction score. All right, and then we can say, what we got? Most valuable part. Got focus areas. So is there something else they want to focus on? And then the yes focus. And I believe that was what we had in that form, was those 3.5 questions. All right, so this is all set up. So score, most valuable part. Need to focus on something else. And what is it? Okay, so we've got that here. So this will send you an internal notification with all of their details. Now what we can do, especially with scores like this, is if the score is 2, for example, or below, it's below 3, which is sort of average there, we can split out the path here. Okay, so we can say if satisfaction score is, let's say, below average, or is not satisfied. So now we've got a path here, and we can write an email for if that score is low there. So if it's below this, then we can have a specific email saying, sorry to see this isn't good, I'll look into it right away. Okay, so that's how we would set that up there. Maybe we could even send a different email saying urgent to you after we've checked this. All right, so we will, sorry, that's not good. Save that there. Now the other thing that we can use is we've got some workflow AI in here. So GPT is kind of inbuilt a little bit. So why don't we have a look at GPT. It is a premium feature there, and it's chargeable per execution, but you have a couple of free ones. So let's have a look. So we can use the GPT model, whatever we like, action type. So you've got a couple of things here. You can analyze sentiment, you can summarize text, you can translate content, but let's just use a custom one here. Please provide an analysis on this feedback from contact full name based on the following responses. And then we would put in here, again, all the same as before. So why don't we just save that? And we'll copy and paste from the internal notification. And in here, we need to provide much clearer information. So we'll do the exact questions from the form. So say, how satisfied are you? And the same with the rest. So ChatGPT will be seeing the questions and the responses here. And you can add some more information as well about the type of coaching that you do. More information is generally better. It can be a bit too much sometimes. Yeah, and temperature here, you don't really need to worry about this. This just depends how focused it is versus how random it is. So 0.2 is probably a good one to use. We'll save that. And then we'll send an email. We might actually wait 1 minute first. Dr. GPT's thoughts. And then we'll just have in here from the GPT, what is the response? So what did it say? It's going to send that to you. Now, if we want to be really fancy, we could even craft this. Oh, sorry, I've sent this as an email that's going to the client. We don't want that. We'd want that as an internal notification. But what I was just going to say is if we want to be really fancy, provide analysis on this feedback from the following responses, and then we can add in another one to look at it again and say, craft a reply to the client contact full name, act as a customer service representative, and craft a reply to the client based on this analysis. And we will use the original analysis. So what it's done here, and we'll probably chuck a minute wait in between each of these, give it time. But So it's thought about it, it's analyzed the feedback, and now it's replying based on that feedback. We just need to change this here to ChatGPT response 2. So that's something you can use. Again, it's a bit fancy. It's probably a bit over the top in some cases, but you can just use it to send it to you. So it will have a look at the feedback, let you know what's going on, and you can get the feedback as well as a quick analysis, a quick snapshot of what GPT thinks it means. If you're going to do this, test thoroughly. Always, always test before you put any of this front-facing out to a client. What I've just done here, by putting that together quickly and without too much forethought, I would not be turning this on. I'll be testing this over and over again until it creates something that I want and tweaking my prompt here to try and make it maybe sound a bit more like me or a bit like I want it to. Particularly if the satisfaction score is below average, we don't want to be sending out random GPT. All right, so that is that. I'm going to save it here. Okay. And I think that is pretty much it as far as what I was going to show you in relation to triggers and follow-ups. So let's move on to our summary. So we covered forms and surveys, more forms than surveys, detailed responses. So how to get the best response out of your clients without going too far. Automated review requests. So after the 6th session, they automatically get a request asking them for a review and they get follow-up. So this will really increase your review testimonial rate as long as those emails, those follow-ups are nice, they're gentle without saying they're gentle, and they've had a positive experience. If they've had a negative experience, you'll probably find out about it, and that's positive in its own light. And triggers and follow-up. So how we can take action based on the responses to our feedback there to make sure that we're on top of it and we're actually doing something with it. Okay, so action steps. Number 1, take a moment. How are you feeling about all of this? Did the ChatGPT part confuse you? That's okay. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot that we've done overall. We're right at the end here. We've covered pretty much everything that we set out to cover at the start of this course. So congratulate yourself. You've gone through a lot. There's a lot here, unless you've jumped right to the end. But I'm going to assume that you've gone through step by step. So well done for sticking with it. Take a break, take a nap, do whatever you have to do to think about this, and then we will create some feedback forms. So build a simple form or survey to collect feedback from clients after every 3 sessions. Again, you can have this the same every time, it will just overwrite, or you can create different ones for every point in the journey. Automate review requests. So set up a workflow to automatically send review requests after 6 sessions. Again, 5, 6, 7, even earlier if you like, if they've got quick results. You can also just trigger that at any point, send that request, and it will continue the follow-up there. Okay, action steps. So set review reminders. So create reminders, reminder requests for forgotten reviews, and use feedback triggers. So create triggers that automatically follow up with their clients based on their feedback. So this will vary from person to person, but go through, get creative with it. If you're in the community and you have any questions, hit me up with it. I'd love to see what you create. And I think that's the next thing, is share with the community. So post your forms and surveys for feedback and help. We can even have a look at how to use those triggers based on your specific feedback that you're requesting. Okay, quote of the day. Do what you do so well that they will want to see it again and bring their friends. So that's from Walt Disney, entrepreneur and founder of Disney. Yeah, the whole goal of this is to be amazing as a coach. Now, this is all, what we've been covering is all the stuff around running a business that's not necessarily coaching related. So it's to take your mind off of that. Once all this is placed, you'll have so many more hours in your day to just focus on being an exceptional coach. And when you do that, people will want to come back. Will they want to bring their friends? It depends on what type of coaching you do. But if they have the same issue that you're helping them with, if their friends have the same issue, that is, then they'll recommend you. And they will leave testimonials, which will serve as recommendations sort of on the side there, indirect recommendations. So that is the purpose of all of this. Okay, so on that topic, please leave a testimonial if you found this valuable. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And let's make it happen. So get started, get building. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Talk soon. Congrats on automating your feedback and review process. That wraps up the entire series, but if you need to revisit anything, check out the full playlist over here. And if you have any questions about all of this or you're looking for more support, join my free school community, Automation for Coaches. I'll see you in there.